Yeah. Yep. Okay, ready, guys? Okay, thanks for your patience. We were discussing a couple little things we had to take care of. And we're going to open the meeting with a moment of silent meditation or prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Pizzo, do we have any changes to the agenda before we get started with our presentations for our awards?
We do.
We do.
Part of the reason why we're a few minutes late in starting. Item number, I'll work backwards if you'll forgive me. Item 13 on this evening's agenda, which is Johnson Developments. We received correspondence from the developer back on June 10, advising that they are still working through some issues with neighboring property owners, and as a result are asking that this evening's hearing be tabled, and that they are granting an extension of time under the applicable provisions of the municipality's planning code through and including the 31st of July. Based upon my discussion with Mr. McGinnis, the attorney representing the applicant, they would be looking to be placed on the council's first meeting agenda in July.
Okay, which is July 11th. Okay, someone make a motion to move that to July 11th?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's done. Anything else?
Yes. Item 12, which is the item that we were just discussing. The applicant, I was in discussions with the applicant's engineer and the township engineer immediately before this evening's meeting. There are a few changes that need to be made to the applicant's plan before it will be in a position for council to consider it. And so we don't expect them to be too significant in terms of the amount of time it's going to take the engineer to do it, but certainly significant in terms of the council's consideration. And therefore, the applicant is requesting that this item be tabled to your second meeting in June.
Okay, that's June 27th. Does anybody have a motion to? Okay, so moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye, okay. Okay, next.
Then finally, there are a few items that Mr. Tchaikovsky, the Township Finance Manager, will be presenting to you this evening. Items 5, 6, and 7, or 5, 6, 7, and 8. One of those, when we get to that, Mr. Tchaikovsky will advise you that one of those will need to be tabled to a date certain, as we are awaiting some information from the township's actuaries that hasn't yet come in.
Okay, should we table it now or table it at the time?
We could table it now. I believe that's item 7, Mr. Tchaikovsky, is that correct? So item 7, which is the ordinance amending the defined benefit pension plan and trust for the non-uniform employees of the township, that would be tabled. Mr. Tchaikovsky, a month, let's say, to give the actuaries ample time.
July 11th, fast enough?
Sounds.
2 days short of a month?
There we go.
Okay. All right, so is there a motion to move that to July 11th?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that's done. Okay, now, we have our two groups here tonight. We have a presentation of our DARE, which is our drug prevention program for our youth. We have the poster contest winners with our drug and alcohol board, one of our finest volunteer boards in the township. And then we also have a presentation by B3T, which stands for Build a Better what's it, Build a Better Town? What's the T?
Together.
Building a
Oh,
better
together.
Bensalem together.
I'm sorry. We're building a better Bensalem together, okay? Okay. I'm sorry. Build a better Bensalem, there's a T there, you know, we're just asking. Okay, Rose, and we have two scholarship that we're going to award. One is in honor of Rosemary Adeletto Scholarship, which is, and we'll talk about her in a minute, was one of our great people who served our community in many, many facets. And then also Sonny Parikh Scholarship, who's another man who volunteered, spent most of his adult life volunteering for Bensalem Township. Okay, so let's get started with the presentation of the DARE poster contest. Do we have somebody from our drug and alcohol? Yep, come on up. If you can go to the mic there and then.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, Mayor, Council. My name is Tammy Wood-Mogul. I'm the Supervisor of Pupil Services with Bensalem School District, but I am also the liaison between the school district and the Bensalem Township Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board. For those of you who don't know, the mayor and the council are very concerned about substance abuse prevention, and for many, many years have been providing supports here within the township to ensure that our youth and adults are living healthy and safe lives. And through the work of our Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board volunteers, all seated up here in the front, and President Mr. Schilling over here by the window, it is my honor to recognize why we are here this evening. As you can see lined up here, we have 5 amazing DARE graduation posters selected throughout the entire township as our winners. Some of the things that, aside from the DARE contest that we do through the Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board, is support different programs and initiatives for youth and adults. We support the police department in certain venues or things that they need. Anything that you can think of in order to make this a healthy place for all families to live is what this board, as well as the next committee that you're going to hear from, B3T, working together to make this the best place, as always, to live and send your kids to school. So I'm going to introduce Detective Oliverio, and he's going to tell you just a little bit about the DARE program, and then we're going to move into the awards.
Thank you, Tammy. Mr. Mayor, Council, everybody, my name's Brian Oliverio. I'm a detective with the Bensalem Police Department. I've been a DARE instructor for the last 16 years here in Bensalem, and Bensalem's been delivering DARE to the elementary schools, all 9 of them here in Bensalem Township for the past 30 years. Retired Director Fred Herron is here. He was one of the original DARE instructors, so it's glad to see you here, Chief. A little bit about what we do. We deliver 10 lessons to DARE to the 5th grade. Lessons are about bullying, alcohol and tobacco, which is a big one, communication. We talk about cyberbullying, which is a new curriculum with all the cell phone, all the social media that's going on in the schools. It's an issue. So we're getting the education out about the responsibilities of the cell phones to the teachers, to the parents, and to the students, what's expected of them with the phones. We talk about communication. We talk about stress. We have a graduation at the end of it, and Mr. Mayor is usually always there at all the graduations. The Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board, they present gift cards for the DARE poster winners. We have an essay the students have to do for 5th grade to graduate from there. They do an essay. We have an essay winner, and then we have an academic winner. And it's a huge program. I see a lot of the kids throughout the township. I live in the township, so I get to see the township kids when they're graduated. One actually came through the police department as an intern about 3 years ago, and that was good to see that she's going to be a police officer and was a DARE graduate. So on behalf of the police department, Lieutenant Donnelly is the coordinator of DARE. He keeps everything going, and I'd personally like to thank the mayor for keeping this program going. I know a lot of townships don't do it anymore, but we continue to do it, and thank you very much.
So if I could ask the Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board members to come up next to the posters, we're going to do the awards presentation. I have to give a shout out to the Bensalem teachers for making time during their classes to help the students with their posters. So if you could just stand next to Denny. So our first place winner is Sarah. Sarah, if you could please come up. Please stand next to your poster. Our second place winner is Mahik. Please come up next to your poster. Shiv Patel, please come up. Our fourth place winner is Ariel. I don't think Ariel was able to make it. And our fifth place winner is Alexandria. Please come up. If you didn't have an opportunity before you came in to take a good look at the posters or see them up here, I really encourage you to take a look at them. They spent a lot of work and effort on these things, messaging, and really proud of, hopefully, our future leaders of the Bensalem community. Right, Mayor? Thank you, everybody. Right now? Oh, okay.
So, Brad, what I'd like to do is get all the members to kneel and get pictures.
Sounds good.
Mary's new. She's on the board of whether she's still singing. You guys want to be with us, right?
Mayor. Mayor.
Let it sit out back there.
Get him up there. Mayor.
They're going to
Mayor.
relax.
Dad, where do you want me to put them at? Right here.
Yeah, there.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Frank, thanks a lot, Frank. Thanks for
Joe,
working.
is this in the way, or are you okay with these?
No, I think that's okay.
You're welcome.
I mean, I don't think it's be all right. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you. Congratulations to all.
I know. About that. That doesn't matter. Okay, so I'd like to thank the DARE people and thank our board, our drug and alcohol board, do a great job. It's a very important mission. I also like to personally thank Mr. Kisselback, who in the past has always supported DARE, but he's retired now, so he has extra support for DARE, so he makes almost every DARE presentation on behalf of council, and we appreciate you doing that. Thanks, Ed. Yep, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so the next presentation we have, which is from Build a Better Bensalem Together, okay, is the presentation of the Rosemary Adeletto Scholarship and the Sonny Parikh Scholarship. And the scholarships shine Stands for selflessness, honesty, integrity, nobility, and empathy. And these are Shine scholarships. I believe they're $1,000 apiece, and they're given to two 12th graders. Is there somebody from Build a Better Bensalem Together? Okay, Fred's coming back here. Fred, how you doing, Fred? It's been a long time. All right, yeah.
Can we have all the B3 team members just come on up as well? Thank you, Mr. President, Council, Mayor, guests, residents. The reason why we need more money in the police budget, oh no, I'm sorry, wrong presentation.
Thought you were going to ask for an ice cream truck or something, you know?
As Council President had said, Building a Better Bensalem Together presents the Rosemary, Adeletto, and Sunny Parikh Shine Student Scholarship Award. Shine stands for selflessness, honesty, integrity, nobility, and empathy, the same qualities that both Rosemary and Sunny exemplified for so many years, along with their strong sense of commitment to others and our community. As longstanding members of B3T, Rosemary and Sunny were outstanding role models and committed to the community and serving Bensalem. They truly were the shining examples of selflessness, honesty, integrity, nobility, and empathy. The Shine Scholarship is awarded to two 12th grade students, one in Rosemary's name and one in Sunny's name. Each student will be awarded $1,000 to their university to be utilized for post-secondary education and training. The Shine Scholarship nomination forms are given out to schools throughout Bensalem, and anybody can nominate someone. They got numerous folks back, and two came to the surface. And they are here tonight to be awarded. I also want to recognize Aline, Rosemary's sister. I don't think anybody, if you have anything to do with prevention in Bucks County, you know the name Rosemary Adoletto. And Aline, thank you for coming back. I don't see anybody from the Parikh family here today. So, and we all know Uncle Parikh was on our school board, and they've since left Bensalem. But the first student I wanted to call up was Jaden Fobbs. Stand right here, Jaden. We would probably be past council's limitation on meeting times if I read all about Jaden. So I'm going to reduce it a little bit, but it does not nearly give him the credit of everything I've read. Jaden currently serves in the MCJ ROTC here at Bensalem High School, which he achieved the rank of cadet captain, which is the highest rank you can get in ROTC, which is amazing. So congratulations on that. Jaden also has been named Distinguished Junior, Senior, and Citizen in Bensalem School District. He's been involved in so many service clubs, too many to mention. But his distinguished honor also includes Honor Roll, Student of the Month, Military Excellence Award, Distinguished Junior, Distinguished Senior, and of course, as I said, the Distinguished Citizen. Drill team, orientation team, shooting team, and color guard. Maybe it'd be easier to tell everybody what you don't do. But I wanted to highlight just one specific story that they have for Jaden. And recently, in one of his classes, a book was read about a young boy that is autistic. And in answering questions, Jaden helped the class to find ways that the boy could be helped and how should others treat him as this very special person that this young boy was. He was totally accepting of him and made sure that others looked at the positives as they were reading along. I think in 2022, when you hear all kinds of stories of what's going on in the world of this country, when somebody like you rises to that top above everyone, from what I've been reading, Jaden, the two of you, as I read for the other young man, you are most deserving of this award, so congratulations. Karen Sibley, his teacher, you're here, Karen? And his teacher nominated him, and Jaden is going to Holy Family for criminal justice. So congratulations. We'll call you back up, or you can just stand here, and we're going to bring up the other young man, and we'll get a picture of everybody after that.
Congratulations. Good job.
City DeCourt. what is it? Rush Elementary has 22 dialects speaking. And Bensalem has often been described as, well, we describe it, we know it's a melting pot in the Ellis Island of, if not Bucks County, probably Pennsylvania. And when you hear this young man's story, what we've been talking about Bensalem, we have living proof right in front of us today. Sidney is a high school student here graduating from Bensalem and arrived in the United States in 2019 as a refugee. He left Mali? Mali, him and his family left Mali. They fled that country to another country due to the war that was going on. His family then left and went to Algeria to find work. He worked and lived in Algeria for 3 years before applying to the United States to become a United States citizen. He came here and was living in a group home on Bristol Pike, which I know we've been down to that folks, when we met everybody coming into the United States some years back. But not speaking any English, he quickly learned English, became friends with some folks there, and only knew his counselor down there, but quickly integrated into Bensalem High School to become the role model that he is today. He is what's been described as the go-to person in Bensalem High School with new kids, with new folks, and has been involved in every aspect of an American high school. He is described by his teacher as the American dream. He has come to America to learn a new language and to be a great productive citizen in this country, and you are far surpassing most people on that road to becoming an incredible, you already are, an incredible person and an amazing citizen. So I can't imagine what the future is going to bring. I have a feeling we have not seen the last of you tonight. So because of your leadership skills, your integrity, you're able to work with others, and everything that you've brought to the table coming here and what you've shown and taught other people, you are also getting the Shine Award in memory of Sonny Parikh and Rosemary Adeletto today. And he is going to Temple University. Come on up, we'll get a couple, we'll come to Sidney, stay up for a minute, we'll get a picture. Mayor, council? Parents, anybody here?
Oh, we gotta take a picture? We're taking a picture.
Take a picture, come on. Take it, you don't have to take it off, leave it on, up to you. Well, let's look at folks, relatives first.
Okay. With that, we'll continue the council meeting, and thanks everybody again for coming from our DARE program and our drug and alcohol people and our Build a Better Bensalem together. Okay, next is on the agenda is public comment. You'll have an opportunity with each agenda item to come up. So we'll do, and there's public comment at the end. Okay, next is number 3 on the agenda is approval of council minutes for the meeting dated May 9th. Okay, does anybody have any changes for May 9th or? Okay, I made no notes myself. It looked good to me. So is there anybody who wants to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's good. Minutes are accepted for May 9th. You got a last eye there from Mr. Kisselback. Okay, so council's number 4 on the agenda is council's consideration of the mayor's 3 recommendations to the EDC, the Economic Development Advisory Board, and they are as follows. The Economic Advisory Board, Mr. Mayor, do you want to
Yes,
state who they are?
I present to the council Michael Cook, Ashley Thomas, Ashana Sharma.
Okay, and they're all members to be
You
on.
should have had their resumes in
Yeah,
front of
yep,
you.
yep.
Yeah, all the resumes were very impressive.
Yeah, really nice.
Very happy to have you on board as long as you get voted in, but I'm sure that will be the case in a minute. But I was impressed personally.
Yeah, we have a lot of good people on that board, and we have a new chairman there, Bob, and he's doing a good job.
Executive.
We just had their golf outing for our local charities. Okay, so is there a motion to accept the mayor's 3?
I will put that in the form of a
nominations?
motion that we accept the 3 that were recommended by the mayor to become a member of the EDC, the Economic Development Corporation.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any against? Okay, and so they're accepted, congratulations. Okay, number 5 on the agenda, consideration of the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Program.
It's a very simple thing.
Okay,
Good evening, members
John,
of
you got
council.
this?
So presented to you is a memo from the mayor. The township is looking to amend the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Program. The action plan that was originally approved in 2020 when the grant was awarded, we're looking to reallocate funds within the program to add to our curb cut program that we're doing right now for ADA access ramps at intersections throughout the township. We are looking to reallocate funds within the program itself to the curb cut program due to the increase in costs of the actual program itself.
so we're going to try to get at these curbs for the ADA requirements.
Correct, and they've
Which help
already been
people
started.
too.
Yeah, we've already started working on them throughout the township already.
Yeah, I saw them outside Harvest Run West off of Gibson, looks like they were doing them.
Correct.
Okay, so, and this is John Jankowski, by the way, in case people don't know you, John. I know you're famous, but you're finance director, is that your title?
Yeah, finance
Okay.
manager.
So, okay, so that's John's, it's a block grant, it's a simple thing here, but does anybody have any questions or? Okay, so does anybody want to make a motion that we accept the block grant as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, there's a first, second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any against? Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, that's number 5. Number 6, consideration and public hearing of an ordinance amending and modifying the Police Employees Act 600 Pension and Retirement Plan.
Correct. So presented in front to council tonight is a ordinance updating and amending the Act 600 pension plan for our police officers. Through contract negotiations, there was a reduction in retirement age from the age 55 to age 52 with 25 years of service for anyone hired after 1999. There was also many years ago, in 2009, the Commonwealth adopted the killed in the line of service death benefit for any officer that should be unfortunately killed in line of service, where the Commonwealth will fund the death benefit paid to the survivor's spouse or dependents. The That language was added to the collective bargaining agreement in 2009, 2010. However, we never updated the actual pension ordinance. The contract supersedes the ordinance as it would have if it should have occurred. However, we updated the ordinance as well to reflect the act that was passed in 2009 by the Commonwealth for that benefit as well. So those were the two changes that were done to the pension ordinance itself. And I'm here to answer any questions should you have them.
Okay, so, yeah, there are somewhat minor modifications that would need to be done, right?
Correct.
Basically, and we've talked to you and answered questions earlier, too. But does anybody else have any additional questions for John in reference to this consideration? Okay, if not, is there a motion to accept?
Approve as presented.
Okay, is there a second? And Mr. Kisselback, second. All in favor? Aye. Any against? Okay, that's good, thank you.
Great.
And then number 7 was moved to 7/11/22.
Correct.
Number 8, consideration of a resolution regarding the Bensalem Police Pension Plan, which was adopted pursuant to Act 600. How's this different? This is something different, I guess?
So as you can recall, usually in September when I present the minimum municipal obligation for the following year, I also present this resolution adopting the employee contribution for that calendar year. The minimum required contribution according to Act 600 is 5% of an employee's paycheck into the pension plan. A township can adopt a resolution to bring that contribution less than the 5%, should council approve it. As we've done in previous years, through contract negotiations, we were able to increase the employee contribution for this year from 3.5% to 4.25%. So the police officers will be contributing more to the pensions this year in conjunction with receiving the reduction in retirement benefits.
And I guess this will continue to help fund the account and make sure that they have the retirement money there for them when they need it.
It's
And then
still less than the minimum required.
it is, yes. And then
There's still 6,000.
yes, correct. In 2023, it will go up to the minimum of 5%. So we next year I will present. Actually, next year I won't have to present an ordinance at all because we will be at the minimum of the 5% in 2023.
Okay.
And this is contractual and they agreed upon?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any other questions for John in reference to this? Okay, is there a motion to accept as
I'll
presented?
put in form of a motion.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Okay. All right, John, are you doing the sewage too, John, or are you done?
No, I'm out.
All right.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good
John,
day.
you're the finance director, remember?
Finance Director in charge of sewage facilities. Okay, number 9 on the agenda is what we do generally for every development that comes, that gets approved. Consideration of a resolution for Act Number 537, Pennsylvania Sewage Facilities Act, plan revision for new plan development of parcel land identified as 4946 in Chamonix Boulevard subdivision. Phil, do you have this, or? Self-explanatory, or?
It is self-explanatory, Mr. President. Sorry. I could accommodate it. This is a general form that has to be filled out every time a plan is connected to public water, sewer, or they have to define it. So this is just the one for 4946 in Chamonix Boulevard, indicating that the sewer is going to be installed, and it gets an approval from DEP, also gets an approval from the City of Philadelphia and from Bensalem. The issue with this was that this was already signed off on after it went to the City of Philadelphia. The problem was that the person that does it from Philadelphia was not, he went on sabbatical. So we signed the plan, the module, and DEP kicked it back saying, you can't sign it till after Philadelphia signs it. So we had to wait for Philadelphia to sign it, and then we had to re-sign it again with a later date than what Philadelphia did. It's just a clerical matter.
Okay, so we already have done it, and we're just bringing it up to date.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so is there any questions from council on this? It's pretty, okay, is there a motion to accept as presented?
So moved?
Okay, we have so moved, and Joe, you want to second it? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any against? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, number 10 on the agenda, consideration and signing of agreement for Amazon.com. Does anybody have this? Mr. Pizzo, do you have this one, or?
Yes, sir. These, before you this evening are the land development improvement agreements and the stormwater best management practices operation and maintenance agreements for Amazon Phase 3, located on Winks Lane and State Road. The developers' agreements have been prepared by our office. They've been executed by the developer/applicant. The necessary funding associated with the agreements has been submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township, and the agreements are in a form acceptable for your consideration and approval this evening.
Okay, thank you. That's different. Sorry, Jim. Okay, does anybody have any questions in reference to this signing of an agreement that's already done? Land development? No other questions? Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the signing?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? I'm sorry, a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay, that's good. Okay, number 11 on the agenda, consideration of escrow releases for Faith Unity, release number 1, tax parcel 21552, $43,500. Do you have this, Mr. Pizzo? Or do you have it, Phil?
No, I believe that
You
would
got
be
Phil?
Mr. Worster's.
Okay.
Yes, the applicant for Faith Unity requested a release of $77,500. After review, some items are still not eligible to be released, so we're recommending an approval of $43,500 with an amount remaining for that of $316,466 and some change.
Does it make a difference between two? One is the silt fence compost, and as well as number 5, earthwork. Briefly and quickly, can you just give us a synopsis of those two items?
The silt fence sock we've had some issues with where they've placed it out there. It's kind of in the road. It's not supposed to be in the road. So we're working back and forth with the contractor and with the applicant to kind of make sure that silt fence and sock is in. And that's what that's called. It's sitting out in the road. You'll see it's a
Okay.
black
Right.
thing to keep the silt in.
PennDOT okayed it.
Yeah, PennDOT okayed it. So we're not at odds with anybody with this thing. It's just that we're monitoring that sort of thing. So we can't give a full charge for that because it's still out there.
Okay.
It's not done. And the earthwork, they're not done any of their cut and fill work. So when they're done, then we would release the escrow. They're still doing it, so we're still moving forward with that.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, does anybody want to make a motion that we approve the $43,500 release based on our finance department auditing?
I'll put in a form of motion that we approve it based on the audit being surveyed and approved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Okay. Okay, number 2 of these releases is the Samarpan Hindu Temple, release number 8. It's 2746 Mechanicsville Road, 236-8, and they're asking for an amount of $96,854.72. Do you have this, Phil?
Yes, Mr. President. They're requesting the amount of $316,000. We're recommending $96,854 be released at this time. The same type of thing. On the last page, you'll see the differences between what they've recommended and what we've done with regard to our inspections and feel it's appropriate for release, which is explained by number here. And then on the last page, there's bullet points that are referred to, or footnotes, that tell you what the problems are and why we can't escrow that. And we explained this to the applicant, and therefore we reduce their escrow release from $316,000 to $96,000.
Okay, my question would be, is the 316 the whole thing we have, or is there more besides that?
No, there's more. There's 392 left after this.
After that, okay. So we have that plus whatever's remaining of this. Okay, so it seems like we have pretty sufficient enough money to make sure they complete it properly.
Are they
Is
just
there-
arbitrarily asking for money? Because you have two major things here. One was over 100,000 and one was, 40,000.
Well,
I mean, how
I-
can be such a difference? It's just that they want their money back.
right, I think that's part of the issue, that they request a certain amount back with the hopes that they're going to get it back and be able to release some of their credit without regard to the amount of work that was done. And there's probably, and occasionally there's a distinction between what we feel is done and what they think is done or almost done.
Well, I appreciate your diligent research and bringing these numbers back to us.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I hand it to Quentin back there because Quentin's the one that takes care of all these escrows.
Quentin, thank
All
you.
right, good job, Quinn. Okay, so is there any other questions? If not, is there a motion to accept the release as recommended, $96,854.72, with audit from the Finance Department?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any against? Okay, that's good. Okay, number 12 is moved to 627. Number 13 is moved to 711. Okay, next on the agenda is public comment. Is there anybody here for public comment? Well, would you like to introduce yourself and then?
I'm Lawrence Grace, 918 Tennis Avenue.
Donna Grace, 918 Tennis Avenue.
Okay.
We wanted to try to address a problem that's been going on in our neighborhood tonight. We just would like a quick statement, if that's okay with
Okay, yeah,
council.
go ahead.
Just to keep it in context, the last letter we wrote to you, we'll just start with that real quick, and we just had a couple of questions, if that's okay.
So we're following up on a 22-page letter written to each council member delivered to the township on May 18th, 2022. It was in reference to two GC district properties located at 850 Highland Avenue and 863 Bristol Pike. Properties are adjoined by property lines and being used as one. The Township of Bensalem issued a use and occupancy to Riggs and Disler, an infrastructure and industrial contractor whose operations are having a profound negative effect on the surrounding residential properties, as explained in the letter written to each council member. And you should have a receipt from May 18th from each of you. Township has issued a use and occupancy to a business that would be in a non-permissible use for GC districts according to the code of the Township of Bensalem, Pennsylvania. In addition, these properties have known code violations for land alterations done in the past. 850 Highland Avenue had a grandfather to distribute retail building materials from inside the warehouse only, and this grandfather, as it's been over a year now, is subject to discontinued use. It was stated in the May 2021 council meeting that Newcastle Supply has relocated, receiving new use and occupancy for their new location, and is no longer operating from 850 Highland Avenue. Properties also have no variances. So to date, interactions below have gone with zero response from the township. A complaint filed to the Building and Planning Department on April 25th, 2022, meeting with Township Solicitor on May 2nd, 2022, covering with a letter and photos submitted, general discussion of conditions. May 16th, 2022, follow-up complaint filed to Building and Planning, 11 pages with photos stating conditions, photos, and employee truck congestion on Highland Avenue. May 18th, 2022, letter to all council members, 22 pages with photos explaining conditions, copy of complaint, photos of employee and truck congestion on Highland Avenue asking for oversight. To date, the process seems to be as follows. Township issues use and occupancy to a non-permissible business in a GC district because they are a non-compliant business for GC district, along with their size and scope of operations. They are providing and violating a long list of GC district codes. warehouse used for trucking repair shop, eyesore fence lines, excessive noise, no buffer yards, on-site crane operations, trucking, traffic congestion on neighborhood streets, outdoor storage, promoting vector, and so on. Because township placed this non-permissible business in our neighborhood, the surrounding property owners receive property devaluation, health and safety issues each day as described in the complaints. This goes on each day while the non-compliant business profits from other losses. When township is notified of this, the response is no response. The assumption is we pay taxes to the township in part to fund a building and planning department to prevent this exact thing from happening. In this case, we pay taxes to have our living standards reduced and properties devalued by the township's placement of the business, and thus far, no resolution. When asking a zoning and land use lawyer to advise on this matter, his answer was Riggs and Disler operations are of no known GC district use or in the spirit of. If you look at the code of the Township of Bensalem, Riggs and Disler would seemingly belong in Division 2, H-C1, Highway Commercial District, Section 232-408, Use Regulations, Item 11, contractor, craftsman, or general service shop, including plumbing, heating, carpentry, welding, or similar shop. You, our 5 council members, are our highest-ranking officials in the township, and responsibility for resolution lies with you. On June 9th, we received an email from the Building and Planning Department stating that council and the mayor received our past letters and our filed complaints. Building and Planning sent a notice of violation for Class 7 and 8 trucks. They also met with Riggs and Disler and are prepared to file in court if need be. Although this is encouraging, it has no projection time for resolution, nor does it address the multitude of other things wrong at this site. Our understanding is when a use and occupancy permit is granted, the business will act in compliance to the zoning district they are operating in, also known as good faith. Not doing so would be grounds for the use and occupancy to be revoked. The very first thing on the use and occupancy application is that the property must comply with the Uniform Construction Code Act 45, Section 403.46A. In the past, these properties have received violations for 28,000 square foot of concrete slab they poured with no permits or stormwater management, which has yet to be resolved. So if it's not code compliant, how did they get issued a use and occupancy? The bottom line is that the township granted use and occupancy contrary to the codes, to live every day with eyesore fence lines, dumpsters, trucks transferring trash, cranes operating on site, outdoor storage, promoting vector, as well as excessive noise from diesel engines, slamming and banging from operations, diesel fumes permeating the yard. This impacts our property values as well as our health and safety. Asking the surrounding residents to live with us every day until the township resolves this at some unknown time with possible court action seems unreasonable. We need a realistic timeline of how much longer this will go on.
Okay, thanks for reading that, and we did acknowledge that we got your letters. We got a 22-page letter and then an 8-page letter, so we did read them. I personally discussed it with Ken, our zoning officer, and Mr. Pizzo, so, and, you know, Mr. Pizzo is meeting with you, and Ken's told me he's addressing the problems that they've had at that property, so it's not that we're not responding, you're saying, at a pace that's satisfactory.
It's hard to live.
Mr. President, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Larry, you know I'm on this case. I go down here all the time, and I understand what you're saying. They don't have a use and occupancy.
Oh.
They don't have it. We stopped them from getting a use and occupancy when the truck came in. They're not allowed to have those trucks. They've been cited. They've got to get those trucks out of there. And
It's hard to live there.
when they came in, What they came in was electrical company, no storage outside, and small trucks, like they would have a van coming in, and that's what it was supposed to be. That's not what they did. So they are absolutely being cited. If it's in court, whatever it takes to get them out of there, that will happen. That is for sure. But there's no use in, they're operating without a use in occupancy right now. I just want to make that clear that they don't
See,
have
now I
that.
wouldn't have known that.
No.
Nobody said it.
Well, I thought that Ken had told you that.
No.
It comes up with our Thursday
We received
meeting.
a short email basically saying,
Yeah, but we're on top of that, and yeah, they're wrong. And they've got to get the trucks out of there.
Okay,
And
Mr.
Joe,
Pizzo,
you
can
wanna
you add to this?
And the only thing I would add to that is, as the mayor said, and as I believe Ken's email to you said, Township is aware of violations. Township has begun the process of issuing the notices of violation and pursuing the means necessary to get the violation stopped. It probably doesn't behoove anyone for us to talk in any greater detail because the township is in the process of starting litigation, and I don't want anyone to inadvertently say something up here that is being recorded and could, in response to your questions, that could jeopardize our ability to effectively enforce the various township codes.
And I just want to have one other thing. This is not a council problem. This is an administrative problem. Council make the laws and we have to enforce them. And it's good that council hears about it because they hear about it. You wrote them the letters, they know about it. It's our job to get the job done at the administrative level. So, you know, I understand your case, and believe me, your place is beautiful. I come down, you probably see me, I'm riding down there a lot.
yeah.
And, you know, we try to get this thing settled once and for all.
It's just hard to try to live there every day.
I understand.
And then never
I
know
do.
when it's going to end, you know.
I do.
I mean, I almost feel like I have to call them for permission to use my yard or open my windows. Or when I'm eating a sandwich in the kitchen, I'm listening to, I feel like I live inside a construction site.
Yeah, I agree, 1,000%.
I mean, I literally drive in and I have 2- and 3-story cranes swinging around right on my property line. That's crazy. If I had to sell my house tomorrow, I'd never be able to sell it.
No, you're not going to sell your house. Not because of this. We'll get this done. Just like we got the other ones out of there. They just snuck us in on us, how they did that, and it's not an electrical company. It's a big electrical. It's almost like Ashland or one of them, you know, with those big trucks.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess last thing is all that concrete back there, it just keeps promoting the same problem. They park right up on the fence lines. It's supposed to be a district boundary line across the rear of me and subject to, you know, buffer yards. I have concrete right up to my district boundary line. And then, of course, I have 12-foot high, I mean, literally higher than them lines, you know, backed right up against my fences. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you sent the pictures. They all have them.
Yeah, and I saw the picture of the tractor trailer parked on Highland.
Yeah.
And I grew up at State and Tennis, so I walked by your house my whole
Right.
childhood. So it was the Staples house, I think, originally. But, and I called Ken, I said, there's no way a truck can park on Highland Avenue like this. And he said, you're correct, it cannot, and we didn't even know that those size trucks were going to be there, and they can't park on Highland Avenue like that. And we're taking care of it, and we have Mr. Pizzo on top of it, and we have Ken, and we're going to file, do whatever we have to do to get this done.
I mean, after Newcastle, you can understand.
Yeah, I know, it's frustrating, you know?
I feel like I need to move quick. You know?
Okay,
I
well, I
don't-
appreciate you coming out, all right?
All right.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so you'll keep us informed?
Yes, absolutely, yep.
All right,
Yep.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, is there anybody else who'd like to come up for public comment?
Good evening. Tony Williams, 3963 Bainbridge Court in Bensalem. Over a year ago, April 26th to be exact, when you were meeting, and I guess it could be considered Zoom meetings, I made a comment which you responded to. I live in a townhouse community, Bainbridge Court in the clusters. With the gas prices the way they are, what I brought up over a year ago is more important now than ever. And my question then was, what can a homeowner do, a townhouse owner, do if they want to buy an electric car and put a charging station in front of their townhouse? And as you probably are aware of, we don't have assigned parking spaces. The only assigned parking spaces are handicap. I know of 2 Teslas in clusters already that I pass on almost a daily basis, one across the street from me there on the weekends. I'm seriously considering, as a second car, one that I use mostly local, to be an electric car. But I will not have any means of charging it other than going to a Wawa, giant supermarket, where the space is taken by people who don't have electric cars. Amazon's got 2 stations. Parks has, I think, 16, but that doesn't take care of what I want to purchase overnight. At the time, Mr. Mayor, you mentioned that the township would have 2 plus 2 more at a later date on the Knights Road parking lot within weeks. That was over a year ago. But that doesn't help me. And I called, I guess you consider codes, and asked them if there was anything going on. And this was about a month and a half ago. The person I talked to said they didn't know, but somebody would get back to me. I never heard anything. So my question is, what's being done? What if I want to buy an electric car and plug it in front of my house? I can't really run an extension cord across the sidewalk. If somebody trips on it, then I'm liable. I would need to put in a charging station. What is the township doing? This is the wave of the future. One of the councilmen even commented, it is the wave of the future. Well, the future is knocking at our door right now with the gas prices. That's my comment.
We were putting them in, and it cost so much, I put it off because we didn't have it in the budget. It's very, very expensive to run what we wanted to run, and we were putting 4 in, and it was well over $100,000.
Okay.
So I didn't have that in the budget for 4 of them. That's $25,000 a piece. So I geared it back. At first, they told me it was $8,000 to put these things in, but to run the electric, it was much more when we got the bid. So we had canceled this year, and we can put it back in.
Well,
Council could do the budget next year, but that's not going to help.
that's not what I'm interested in. I mean, I realize if I were to buy the car, I've been quoted at expenses anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000. That's up to me. But legally, right now, the way I see it, I can't do it, and I can't be guaranteed that I will have a parking space where I want to plug in my car.
You don't have a garage, right?
No, this is the townhouse. It's basically community parking. The only assigned parking space in the development that I'm aware of is a handicap space. There were 2, now it's down to 1.
Yeah, and there's a few developments like that, but I think at the time, they were developed in the 70s, and no one was thinking that.
Right. No, not even.
But you're bought in a community that has public parking, so we gotta think about it, but I mean, it's hard to resolve. I mean, you might have to, I don't know.
Well, I guess that's what you're here for. You've got to.
Well, I don't know.
Somebody's got to come up with a way that I can purchase a car and plug it in.
Let me ask you a question. You're going to put an electric in, and you park your car there, you plug it in, you power up. What's to stop somebody else from using that? You're going to get charged for whatever the electric is. The township isn't going to pay for the electric cars. It's not part of our responsibility to do that. How would you protect your car if you had a parking spot and somebody walked up and plugged their car in when you're not there?
Well, I don't know. I throw that right back in your lap.
Why?
Why? You make the laws in this township. You just said that earlier.
It's not our place to make laws to stop people from parking in a parking spot or using your electric. The township doesn't pay for that electric. We cannot afford
I would be paying for it.
Right, but if somebody else comes in there and uses it when we're not there, whose responsibility is that? You're saying it's the township's responsibility?
I can kill the switch in my house.
So that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
I mean, that's a gimme.
I think the only thing you could try is to put it in front of your house on your property, I guess, and then take advantage of when there's a spot available that you could do it and charge your car and then take the line out and.
What happens when the neighbors complain?
Well, I don't know.
Which is bound to happen, you know that, and so do
But
I.
that's what happens when that's the community you purchase a home in.
Do you have
It's
an
pu-
association, the clusters?
No,
No.
No association?
no. It's like the codes, it's the same thing.
It's,
the same
we
thing.
have, we know, you know, we own the property, that's it. And
Yeah, but that's the way the
space-
parking was set up.
I mean, when we had a person across the street who parked 5 cars, you're very much aware of it, I think, we had a meeting, there was nothing we could do.
I know, but that's,
But,
you know.
you take care of that
Mr.
specific
Knowles?
situation.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr.
But the
Paizo.
parking, I mean,
Okay, I understand your situation.
somebody has a home, they can park in their driveway and plug
I know,
in.
but you didn't buy a house with a driveway. If you bought a house with a driveway.
I
you would have a driveway.
understand that.
Okay, well, they were built in the
Do you
'70s,
have
so
any
we can't
suggestions?
redo, we
Just
can't
for
put
the heck of it.
driveways in.
Do I have a suggestion or you?
Yeah, what do you,
I don't, yeah.
okay.
Give me an assigned parking space, just like
I
a
don't think
a
okay,
handicap space.
I'll let Mr. Kisselback has a
Where
thought.
Mr. Paizo's gonna go,
Pass
but-
an ordinance.
Okay, well, let Mr. Kisselback speak.
All right,
Okay.
well, I think this is going to have to be an effort between the township and the different either housing associations as such, in that I think we're going to have to check with the electric company or some independent electrical contractor to put some type of a charging area in the, we'll say, for example, talking about the clusters, maybe 4 spaces or so. And with that, somehow provide the opportunity of charging your car in that area, but then using something like a credit card or something like that, where you put it in there and you're being charged for the time that's being charged. And that's the only thing I can think in terms of what you're suggesting to us, something like that. But we're going to have to be involved with that also, possibly checking out different contractors that would offer that type of service, because there's going to be cost involved with the actual.
Well, there's not an
Well,
association.
I
in
understand
there.
that,
There's
and
not an
yes,
association to
that's
deal
a
with.
possibility.
There
But having to go to the casino.
Okay, well, let Mr. Paizo address it. It's a problem, but they were built in
All
the
right,
'70s.
that's
so
why
I mean,
I'm
you know,
here. It's a problem.
I know, but it's not one we may be able to resolve easily. I mean, you're
Well,
saying it's our job.
you have to start somewhere.
Joe,
and-
let Mr. Paizo go
I'm
on.
trying to, yeah.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Okay, let Mr. Paizo speak, okay?
Sure.
We understand your problem. Mr. Paizo?
All I was going to do was piggyback on what Mr. Kisselback said, which is to say that when Mr. Williams was here in April of last year, gasoline was $2 a gallon. In the ensuing year, it's now $5 a gallon. So obviously, his point is well taken, that looking at electric vehicles and how the township might be able to help the many residents of our townhome communities and non-single family communities to be in a position, not necessarily for the township to provide it, but to make it so that,
Exactly.
as Mr. Williams is saying, if he wants to be able to set up a charging operation in front of his townhome, there's a means for him to do it, that he knows he'll have access to that. There are a lot of moving parts to what you're talking about, because some of our townhome communities do have associations, and it would fall under their umbrellas, others don't. The question, as he said, running an extension cord from a house, well, a charging station that's behind a sidewalk, it's no different. If the charger is going to go across a sidewalk to somebody's vehicle, how the township would allow people to install them, there are any number of moving parts. So I think we've all heard it, and with your concurrence, the administration will start to
I'm just wondering,
work
as an
with our zoning
incentive-
and building departments to at least, because first thing we got to do is identify all of the issues and then figure out a way to address them.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be state and federal money that comes in if they want to change society into electric cars. They're going to have to give us the money to put central charging stations in for people, but we're not going to be able to do it, okay? But will we get federal money maybe eventually to be able to put in a central charging station where there's 5, like Mr. Kisselback said, there's 4 or 5, 6 places that you could charge your place? Yeah, we might be able to do that, but I don't know
That's
what
a
it's.
possibility.
Yeah, it is,
But as
but
a homeowner, I think
I know, but
I deserve the same as somebody who has a single-family dwelling and just happens to have a driveway.
But when you purchased the house, it was shared parking.
It was shared parking, that's what
There was
it-
no guaranteed spots for
You knew that,
anybody. I
you knew it was shared
understand.
parking.
I understand that.
But you have to look at the other thing too. You put one in front of your house or even run the court out from your house. Somebody trips on the falls, now you're looking
Well, that's-
at lawsuits and stuff.
Well, that's what
mean,
I
these-
mentioned. This would be in front of the sidewalk, at the curb. In other words,
Yeah, okay. Well,
you're
we're
saying,
gonna,
in other words, it
we're gonna,
wouldn't be behind the sidewalk, it wouldn't be between the sidewalk and the residence. It would be between the curb and the blacktop.
okay, well, we're gonna, we
That
got,
way, nobody's tripping over
okay,
anything.
well, we're not gonna come to a solution tonight, but
I
we'll think
understand
about
that.
it. And the mayor's gonna address it, and he'll have a meeting with his administration, and we're going to address it with other people, with state representatives and federal representatives, and see what.
Exactly, but
And not only Bensalem, it's gonna be across the country.
I
There's a lot of
understand
people
that,
like
but somebody's got to get the ball rolling. That's my
I
whole
understand.
purpose
Yeah,
of coming
I
here.
never even, I appreciate it actually, because I didn't even think about that, but I mean, that's
I
a real problem.
appreciate that.
It's a real problem.
That's my whole reason for coming.
Yeah,
And I
okay.
thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Right.
Okay, is there anybody else?
Hi. Teresa Crowley, 184C Townsville Road, Washington Crossing, Pennsylvania, 18977.
I'm sorry, I can't hear
Okay,
you.
we
Can you
can't hear
speak
you,
up?
can you speak up?
Okay, I'm nervous when I talk on these things, okay?
that's okay.
All right, I want to piggyback on this gentleman here. Only
Okay, what's your
because
name again? I didn't hear you.
Teresa Crowley, 184C Townsville Road, Washington Crossing, PA, 18977. Okay.
How you doing, Mr.
Okay, I had rented a car, my car got in an accident, so I had for 8 days a rental car, all electric car. So I'm thinking there's a little bit of misunderstanding. Mr. Plary was saying like as if that unit is yours alone. Like when I am on a farm, so there were that electrical, that wiring we have, and it didn't have that. I plugged in at the state park. So I'm assuming that the enterprise company, they paid that bill. I think it recognizes when you plug your car in, you're being billed. It's
Yeah,
not, you
I
don't
know.
have to own it. Okay, two, I know there's grant monies out there at this point because I spoke to an owner of a golf station in Newtown, and they were saying she was getting prices like 240-some thousand. So your 100 and something thousand, Mayor, was a pretty good deal. But there is grant monies. For how long that will be, I don't know. That's why I mentioned to you when a few months ago about the Armstrong with the gas station, and you said, well, Wawa has them. They're for Tesla. So if that gas station, when they're doing their planning at the Armstrong
Yeah.
property, something bigger, I mean, this is where we're going. I think when they created these electric cars, they weren't thinking of infrastructure. I mean,
Yeah, I
for
don't think so.
traveling.
I don't think so either.
But,
yeah.
and you can have it to your house and have it, if he has a garage, I don't know how they're set up where he's at. It's a special plug, and you have to have the correct wiring ampage.
In the developments that have homeowners associations, it's a lot easier to do that than the ones that don't. But
True.
that's part of what the mayor, I believe, is looking into, what grants are out
Oh,
there, what
yeah.
federal grants are out there, what state grants are out there to make it happen.
I
More and
just
more
wanted
people-
you to know that I don't think it's like, if I'm at the Boss Cops and I want to plug my car in, it's not my charging station.
Yeah, we know that, yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah,
But
we
if you
understand.
start
That's all I
putting
went
it,
But if you put it in your house,
if
it's
you
gonna
put
be
it
a
at your
charge.
house, it's going to be private. It's not going
Well,
to be
yes,
public.
obvious.
Well, that's what he's talking about, getting his
But,
house.
okay.
And the township shouldn't be responsible for paying for that
Definitely
electricity.
not, no.
I just don't want
No.
anybody to think
But if
that.
it's a public thing. that
Or
they're
responsible for
Yeah,
any
but there-
upkeep
it's
of
going to
it.
have to be federal or,
Yeah,
I mean,
so.
Obviously,
forcing
but
us
if
into
you're
electric
going to look
cars,
into,
that's
I
what they
would
do.
start looking into grants. If there's something going to provide as a public thing for like Neshaminy, not Neshaminy Park, but different things like that, even Neshaminy Park, I don't know. But just a thought, okay?
Okay,
you.
thank you. Okay, anybody else?
Hi.
All this time.
All right, I think everybody knows who I am. Natasha, 2047 Hansel Drive. So a couple questions. Is there any idea where we stand as far as fixing some of the problems on Hansel Drive go? Drainage, et cetera?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, do you know where we're at on Hansel Drive? Are we doing anything right now, or? Here, Quentin, come on up.
He's pointing to me.
Okay, there you go.
Well, as you're aware, we spent weeks out at Hansel Drive and on your property as well with regard to the issues associated with the drainage and problems out there, the compounding of not having the Armstrong site developed, and just overall general issues associated with drainage. My staff's been out there quite a bit. Public Works has been out there cleaning and doing things off and on over the past few months with regard to the overall situation at Hansel Drive. The bottom line that we've determined is that when Armstrong comes in, whoever comes in and develops that, their basins will take care of much of the drainage associated with what's coming off of the Armstrong site. So with that, we've also determined that the water flow associated with the area in Armstrong is, and I'm not sure if we talked about this before, but there's a stream that goes under Hansel Drive. And it goes out to Street Road, and then it continues on through the golf course. And it's easy to show how things are problematic with all the stormwater issues that we have, that something over on near the Armstrong School could impact bridges on the golf course. If you're a golfer, I know, Joe, you are. So,
Yeah.
so
One of my balls are in that.
Right. Well, it's very interesting that all comes into play. So we're evaluating options as far as what we can do as a township, along with the school district, perhaps, to come up with something to further mitigate the drainage issues associated with Hansel, which will also positively impact all the other downstream projects.
I don't think that's why they're here. I think they're here because of maintenance, am I correct?
A little bit of both. Actually, that is part of why we are here, is to ask where we are in this project.
And that
Is
was my next
something-
question. Were you the lady that was here who had the problem behind your house where it was pushed up against your
Yep.
fence and everything? Has that been cleared?
Well, it fills when there's a rain, it gets sediment and that sort of thing in, but it's a significant, the system out there right now is working. But it will not work when we get at least a 20-year storm. It overwhelms the system.
But it'll work when the Armstrong
So
development's
when Armstrong comes in, it will improve that area with regard to that culvert and behind the ditch behind the house. But it will not help the overall issue of the major floods associated with the project that I just spoke about.
Can't we make him put the basins in now and do things to keep the water from running off on his property onto their property? I think it's a
The
no-brainer.
problem is, it's not just my property.
I don't,
It's the whole of
street.
Hansel Drive.
It's the whole street, I
So,
understand.
and I don't want to cut you off, but the overgrowth stuff, I thank you guys so much. It was helpful. They cut everything down. However, that stuff is now growing back. It's already higher than the fence because there's no maintenance to it. If you can't make him maintain the property, how are you going to make him put a basin in on a property that he is actually looking to sell anyway? So he's not going to spend that money. As far as cleaning it up, that, what's it called? I don't think it's called a, I had the name here somewhere, sorry. Anyway, where the water drains into, there's a lot of sediment and trash that is built up there. I have pictures that I can pass around. This was actually taken back in April 30th, so things have gotten worse since then. This is just behind, here, I have more pictures. All right, not only are we talking about trash, we're talking about overgrowth that's kind of just built into there. And if you look at these pictures, how's water going to flow freely through there and get to where it needs to go, right? I mean, this particular picture, you can see it hadn't rained for days. The water's at half point here. It's not supposed to be sitting there that high.
It's having rains like last night and the other night.
But this is just in April. This was back in April, and it hadn't rained for, oh God, I think at least 2 weeks.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to stay on
Right.
top of this. We're gonna have to stay on
Well,
top of this and get him
well,
to maintain this.
You know,
Well,
and here's,
that water, by the way, is on the Armstrong
property.
site.
Right.
Right.
But we're not making him do anything.
Right,
to solve the
and I agree with
problem.
you. I'm just pointing out, there's two issues associated with the Hansel issues, the overall drainage issues associated with a significant flow, and there's also the Armstrong site.
But yes, this is, I mean, there are people there that use the property, and their trash is flowing down to that.
Yeah.
Trash
yeah.
from Coles is flowing over to there, as it just naturally does. I know there's a lot of trash along the side between the Coles property and the Armstrong property that
Including-
makes its way over.
Including cricket balls, as you can see in these pictures.
And he does clean up a bit, and then
It happened only when you guys were insistent, and then after that, it died down.
And the grass has grown over. I do know, I can see it from Street Road above the white fence. I'm not sure about your fence, but I did see it
And,
above.
you know,
the Snyder's fence.
Exactly. We've tried multiple times to contact both Quentin, Ken, and other people regarding this, and we're getting no answers. And I think that's the most frustrating part in all of this, is that we don't get answers. And it seems like it's a thing with the township itself.
Well,
And it's very annoying and frustrating.
We've talked to them, I think you talked to my staff today.
I did.
Right,
yeah.
so I mean, we're engaging associated with that. I mean, the issue is what we have to do with Armstrong. The only thing that I could think of is continue to cite them, and then we threaten citing them. They go out, they clean it up, we pull the citing. I mean, I don't know the specifics of that administrative process.
No more threatening. We should keep a constant thing out there, they have to do it. Why don't we go after Kohl's, that shopping center? If there's papers and trash coming from there, they should be responsible for that. If not, let's fine them. If they're getting fined enough, they're gonna clean up their trash and they're gonna check it out. They're gonna get tired of paying the money to clean it up. We can't just let it keep happening and binding up, and these poor people get all the consequences of it.
Or have Public Works clean it up and we'll put a lien against his property.
Well,
Because
we've started that before, and I guess I have to defer to,
Well,
I guess-
we need to go after Kohl's and the other shopping center. This stuff's coming from parts of the problem, I'm sure from there. Is there, how much water runoff's going into there, and it's coming down
It's more the
to a spot
trash.
that can't handle it?
The trash is coming
Well, that's
across the
right,
road.
that's what I'm saying. They should be cited for trash
And
coming
for
out.
that matter, every business should be then.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, it's
because
correct.
litter is an issue in this
Oh, yeah,
town.
definitely, yeah.
It's,
My
the
shopping
thing,
center.
the thing is, it's becoming a habit now, right? As much as I love coming to talk to you guys, it's exhausting. I've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning because of the rain. It is a thing, it happens. We're coming up on a year. I actually have to give my dog calming pills. My dog has PTSD over the rain. Okay, so it is a problem, and every time it rains, despite
Okay,
the money that
we're-
we spent
We're
on
gonna
our own
continue to
home.
stay on top of it, and we're aware of it.
And that's what I'm asking, that and that I have some kind of a communication with someone. You know, I'm asking if the drains were cleaned. Those drains on Hansel Drive, the top of the grates, they're completely filled with trash. If it's not the property owners on Hansel Drive cleaning them out, they don't get cleaned out. And if you look on Humeville, it's the same exact story. They get filled with sediment, filled with trash. When it rains a lot, where does the water go down to? It actually ends up on Hansel Drive, and it
Okay,
becomes a
well,
river.
We have your contact information for sure, so we're gonna stay on top of this, and like you talked to Phil's people today, not that that's an example, but they're just not contacting you enough and not responding to you enough. So
Yeah.
we'll stay on top of this, we need to find them and get this done and keep on top of it.
The
Because
other places too, the Kohl's and that shopping center, and people further up, the water, their trash goes into that stream and comes down and clouds things.
And that's understandable, but the Armstrong property is a big one, right? Because we can't wait for him to develop. We know for a fact that he's not developing anytime soon,
Well,
correct?
he claims he is, but
No,
everybody
he's
says
Listen-
that.
I wish I knew.
The
asked him,
minute,
he
if
said,
you
I
put,
understand.
if you
But
put
we
that
don't-
much money in a property,
We
the
don't
minute
know,
that
we
ground
don't know for a
thaws-
fact, though, you're saying a fact.
We do not, we don't. But the minute that ground thaws, I am not a business person, but my parents were. The minute that ground thaws is when you start digging.
Well,
That ground's
he's not
thawed a long
going,
time ago.
even if he does sell the property, he can't change one thing in the plan that was approved. It has to be
Yeah,
exactly.
so we're back to square one, but that's a
No,
whole
it's
nother
not square
problem.
one. He's gonna be, whoever, the
Mr.
person that buys it might be more capable of him of actually following through and doing it right.
We have other issues with what was approved on that property.
Yeah, I
correct?
understand, but, you know, I'm
So,
just letting you know.
okay.
Mr. Pizzo, do you have anything to add, or are we okay?
I have a question.
Mr. Blair has a question for you.
Can't we force
them to start making some of the, because they knocked the building down, so now it's just all concrete and dirt and stuff, and the parking lots, I don't think we have the drainage stuff on that property that was there before, the underground basins, or, I don't know what's there. How do we go and make them start doing things? I mean, yeah, he got the property, he's not doing anything, and there's nothing coming forward. How do we protect these people's house legally? Is there something the township can do to Mr. Pandia to make him start making the approvals and making the things that have to be done to protect the homeowners?
The short answer is no. The short answer is that the township has approved the land development plan, but the township really has no ability to force him to start to develop it. As the photographs show, following a visit from the last meeting, the township did require him to go out, clean up the site, cut down all of the stuff, and as these photos from April 30 show, stuff was removed off the fence, everything was cut down to grade, all of the trash was removed. I don't know if there was a dumpster, but I know that, we received complaints that the trash didn't get removed fast enough after they bagged it, but it eventually got off of there. If trash is making its way back onto the site, again, Quentin's obviously here, and the township will continue to monitor the situation, and either, again, he's a property owner in the township, or 2201 Street Road LLC is a property owner in the township, just like all other property owners in the township. And if somebody isn't cutting their grass, or if somebody isn't maintaining their property in compliance with the code, there's a process. We just don't go out onto property and start doing things. So it's something known to the township. The township will continue to do that. Phil's been out and his staff have been out, and as he said, the township is looking at a number and variety of different things that, if Mr. Pandia were breaking ground, we probably wouldn't have this conversation, because underwater detention basins and all the stormwater management things that go with his plan, we hear complaints, I'm sure, about how the property's being built, but at least the stormwater facilities would be going in. But that's not happening. The stormwater facilities that are out there, the township has confirmed that they are operating. They are in the same condition that they've been since Armstrong was built, or at least in recent times since the school district closed the school. So they are functioning, and they are, they're carrying water to where they're designed to carry water.
But they're only functioning on a normal storm. If we get another 20-year storm, which is...
Again, those facilities were designed and developed for a school that was built in the 1950s to standards of the 1950s, which is to say basically no standards.
Which is something that we've all complained about on Hansel Drive, is how outdated both the sewage, drainage, all of that is at this point, right?
Let me ask you another question. Is there a way that we can make him not have to keep citing him and wait until he gets ready to do it? You said it's built back up on the fence and everything, it's growing again.
Oh, yeah, now it's bamboo.
Here we are
and
again, now we have to
whatever else
cite it, then we have to give him time for the citation. We're going 30, 60, 90 days at a time. How do we do that and get it done?
We can do it.
Right, I'm saying, maybe we need to do that so that,
First, we have to give the process to tell him to do it.
So my question is,
Then
can
we
we
go
have a
in and
bi-weekly site view? Site visit by Quentin or somebody?
Sure. Have you called my office with this problem?
Unfortunately,
Why?
I've emailed.
This is my problem.
Yes, but I've emailed Dawn multiple times.
Well,
And that gets pushed off to Ken. And then I email Ken, and I don't get a response.
Well,
I cannot make phone calls when I'm
I
at
think
work.
when I came out to your place, I gave you my card.
Yes, but I
believe it,
can't.
and it's got my number. If you're not getting any action, you call me. They work for us here.
Okay. No, and I understand that, but it is extremely hard for me to make phone calls while I'm at work, because I work in a government facility and I'm not to use my phone. So I cannot make phone calls to you. I just can't. So the best way to do it is to literally
You come home in the evening,
email.
you could call me.
Excuse me?
When you finish work, call me.
At 4:30? I don't know what time you guys
You gotta
want
be
till. I'm just
kidding.
asking. I don't want, see, I've called multiple.
That gentleman right there in the middle called me at 10:30 last night. That guy sitting in the middle. You can call me anytime, I'm serious. Put the pressure, that's my job.
Do it.
That's my job, to make sure that our directors do their job.
All right.
And he works for me. He works for council also, he works for all, but he directly under me.
All right, I will.
I know it's frustrating, we're trying our best.
It's frustrating to me. I don't want to hear, I want to get the job done.
Can we get an update from Mr. Pandya does he have any idea when he's starting development? I know we can't make him, but do we have any
You don't talk to
interchange?
Pandya, you talk to his attorney, am I right?
Yeah. Does he have any idea?
You talk to his attorney.
Yeah. Do we have any idea when he's considering starting the project or no?
Well, the last person we talked to was this engineer, and he no longer works for him. So,
Nobody works for it. It's up for sale.
so
Please stay on top of
So
it. Call me.
So can we ask that somebody from Building and Planning goes out on a bi-weekly basis, or do we have to wait for somebody to give us a complaint to do that? We know it's a problem.
No, we can stay on top.
Council, we have to understand how this works.
That's what I'm asking.
That's why you have a mayor and you have my
Exactly.
administration and we have this. Most towns don't have that.
I
They
agree.
they go to that. We have a different government here.
Yep.
We have the administrative and the legislative. Now, they have to come to me to get this damn job done. They can come out here and complain as much as they want to you guys, but it has to be done
But
by
what
us.
Can
And-
we
and
ask-
we have to understand how the system works.
So since we know this is such a problem property, can
Yes.
we have somebody from Building and Planning on a bi-weekly basis visit it and inspect it for these exact reasons, especially during this time of year when we know the trash is moving across and we know the
Can I
water?
explain something to you? There's 65,000 people in this town. Do you know how many complaints we get every day? We'll work, yes, but we'll work on them, but we have to, it isn't something that we should pinpoint and say, let's go out there every day and look at this one, let's go out there. There has to be a process that we do. This is on the radar big time, okay? This project. We have to stay on top of it. That's all we can do. When we send our own people in there to clean it up. That's our job, and then we'll lien the property. We lien it. Someday, whenever they do something, we'll get our money back. But we'll go in and clean it. We have a property on Knights Road and Street Road. The grass was this high, okay? Nobody will claim the piece of ground. We're so busy, we go out on a Saturday. Our men cut that piece of ground. It's not ours, but it's a disgrace. So we have to do it. That's what we have here. We have a disgrace.
Right, but that is exactly why I'm here, is to call attention to it again, right? Because whatever you guys did before was very helpful, and they did come out and they cleaned up stuff. I mean, it wasn't great, but whatever, they cleaned up stuff. It is what it is, but there's a
We'll get it
maintenance.
cleaned
Okay,
up.
we're gonna
However-
start, we're gonna stay on top of it then. We appreciate
I
you coming out.
promise you we'll get it
Stop.
cleaned up.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Well, can I please say
The next
something?
one- well, let
Because
the next woman come up and make her point.
I would like to speak.
Okay,
please.
go ahead.
I apologize, but if you could just give me a minute. So what we're hearing is that we have a repeat offender, and we have to continue to follow the same process for a repeat offender. But we had a resolution for something that was an issue that we decided we're just going to go in and do and cut the grass. So why do we have to continue to waste time on the timeline to start from the process all over again?
Because we can't leave the property then. We won't get our money back.
And they go to
If we
court,
don't
they
go
get
through the
permission to clean up
process.
once.
So we can't do anything proactively to hold this business owner accountable to what our standards and requirements are prior to giving him notice.
You go through the process, you can fine him. We get to that stage, he goes over here to court. The court, whatever the judge says, will give you another 30 days to clean it, what they normally do. And people, they go into the courts, that's how they do it. They don't fine them right away. You go through that process. Once it goes into the court, we'll go in there.
Right, I know, and I understand that
The
process.
court gives you
I'm wondering
one
how
cleanup.
we,
They don't give you multiple
so
cleanups.
now he's a repeat offender. Say we go through this again and again and again. Does he get an extension every time from the judge?
He could.
How do we stop that?
Should judge.
Shoot the judge, I don't
Get a
know.
new judge. I don't know.
Don't say that.
Mayor, of course, was joking when he said
No.
that.
I'm just trying to find a resolution, as Mr.
Well, shoot
Polari
the
and
mayor
Mrs. Champion
and do that.
are,
Yeah, but
how we get
the thing is,
ahead
like,
of
there's-
it, and rather than continuing
there's
to
properties in the middle of
extend.
neighborhoods who don't take care of the properties. Say you have 20 inches of grass, right? We've gotten liens, permission from the court to cut it.
Right.
If we cut it, then 2 months later, they stop cutting it again. You can't just go out and cut it again. You got to go to court again.
I know.
Unfortunately, that's just the way the system works.
Even,
works for
even for
everybody.
people that just
That's
never
everybody.
follow the
Yeah, it
rules, they're
doesn't
going to put
matter.
us through the ringer
You
and
can't declare
have
them not following the rules. Just
continue to do
There's a
it.
court system and people have rights, unfortunately.
What
Fortunately or unfortunately.
They have rights.
I know, but I'm just saying. No, people that, well, you know what I meant.
I do know what you meant.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ridiculous, okay? Anything else?
No.
You got Anything else?
My name's
Yeah.
Colleen
I
Swesky.
can
I'm
add
at
to it.
2032
That's all right.
Hansel Drive. Some of you know me as Rispo. We keep blaming, and I'm not by any means giving him a pass, because we all know that people on Hansel Drive have a problem. But we came here a year ago saying the property being demolished, flooded our homes. We've all gotten told, no, that wasn't the problem. It's just the 100-year storm, and, it had nothing to do with the property. But now we're waiting for him to do something to clear our rain problems. Hansel Drive takes on 486 acres in Bensalem. That is 30. Where's the other 450 acres? What are we doing about it? We keep blaming him, but the school district owned it before that. What are we doing with it? The township has been built. You guys let the building go on, but nothing has been done for stormwater management in Bensalem. And we can't just keep holding it to the fire. I agree. He probably shouldn't be a business owner and hold property in Bensalem. I didn't agree with it. You guys voted for it. It's all fine. But why are we waiting for him? We have other issues. Hansel Drive takes on 486 acres.
Well, he's
Look
saying
it up.
they're
We
saying-
take all the way up past the school.
They all have retention basins.
We have one drain on Hansel Drive that it drains into that goes down the creek, over to Street Road, down past McDonald's.
Are we part of that, the township?
Yes!
Yes.
We have basins all over this place. No water comes off our property.
Have you walked in your property? It's flooded every time there's a rain.
Well, let's not argue whether it makes it down to Hansel Drive or not, but, I understand your point, and we're working on it.
And Doylestown was out. What did they do? Doylestown came out, the water department, and who was it from Dasha? They did a whole inspection, and then you never hear from them again. Yeah, Bucks County Water and Sewer.
It was during the meeting that you guys approved,
We can't keep holding, and I agree, yes, he's not going to develop on the property, and God forbid if he ever puts a basin in. But everybody sat here, you all walked through my homes, and you told me it had nothing to do with that property being leveled. No, it's fine, the grading's fine, everything's great. And now we're holding him responsible for the flooding on Hansel Drive. Why? Something else has to be done, and we all need to figure it out together.
I don't believe
If
anyone...
we're building a better Bensalem together, we all need to be together.
Just
Stop
so that it's
blaming each
clear,
other.
I believe what Mr. Worster said, but I'll allow him to speak for himself, is that at such time as Pandia develops the site, the township required him to engineer the site so as to address a number of the stormwater issues, not only on his property, but in the area, that would eradicate the problems that Hansel Drive has been experiencing for how many years, Mrs. Champion?
Oh, I don't know, 2 hurricanes, and yeah, it's been...
Long before anyone sitting
you were a
up
little
here
girl.
Since I
had the
was
power
young.
to approve anything.
Yes.
I just don't understand why we're waiting for Pandia. There has to be something else.
There are
There
discussions.
has to be more storm basins,
There-
more drainage.
there-
Can't they do another drain somewhere
There-
on Humeville? It runs down Humeville, runs down Hansel, and goes into the one storm drain. That's it.
There is discussions on this whole thing for the whole township.
Yeah,
There
it
is
was
discussion-
it was in the budget meeting, and that was a year ago.
There is discussions on all this. Just give us a little bit more time. This has been something we've taken seriously, the council's taken seriously, the mayor's taken
And
seriously.
how long have you been talking about it?
With what's going on here, since the Pandia thing happened.
Okay,
But
and
it
since
takes- it
that, they
takes-
ripped up my street twice and recoded it. Ripped up my driveway twice and recoded it. So you're wasting money, is what I'm saying. You just keep ripping up the street, putting electric in, street lights, paving it. Granted, we like the street lights, it's great. But we're wasting money. You keep paying the same people. And we're wasting all that money when you're just going to rip up the street to put in a storm drain. Like, come on, guys, you got to get it together. We need to work together, every department. It's just ridiculous. You can't keep wasting money if we don't have the money to put a smart car in or station. I mean, you just spent it on my. How many times did our street get ripped up? I mean, and repaved. Yeah. They ripped it up for the gas line, then they paved it. Then they ripped it up for the electric line, then they paved it. I mean, why are we doing that?
Yeah, well, the gas company would pay for the paving of the ripped up street.
Yeah, but, I mean, can't we coordinate? I mean, like, it has to come out of
And I-
Bensalem somewhere.
and I just said
You're
to-
telling me Bensalem doesn't pay anything for gas lines or electric street lights or, I mean, you paid for the paving when you did the electric lights.
I'm not
Right?
arguing with you, okay? So I don't-
I'm not just
yeah, okay.
saying.
All right, well, okay. Well, we appreciate you coming out, we're
Thank
trying to work on it, all right? Okay, is anybody else? Yeah.
The name's Tom Holcomb. Some of you may know me. I come up every 10, 15 years for the same problem. I want to show you these overview maps, if you want to pass them out. It has to do with tax parcel 2-6154. I also have a photo album. An attorney told me to put it together like a photo album would be easier for you to see the photographs. The first pages, 1 through 13, is roughly 100 feet of 8-foot chain link fence with an unearthed foundation. Water erosion is causing the fence to be the way it looks in that photo album. Pages 14 to 18 is trash, old bricks, concrete are being dumped. Actual action photographs are in there with the people dumping it. Most of that's coming from the US 13 vendors that used to be on 13. On page 19, we have oil tanks above the ground, close to 1,000 gallons, 3 giant tanks. What's in them? I don't know. They were left there by ECI. ECI is no longer there. February 11th, 2021, I invited the code officer down to verify those photographs you see in the photo album. He took photos, and then shortly after, the heavy earth equipment left the property as well as all the trash containers. 13 months later, March 24th through 26th, this year, 22, all the dumpsters came back, and so did all the earth-moving equipment. On the back part of the property on 54, there's a razor ribbon dividing 2 residential properties. The council in 1993-94 addressed the corporation to remove the razor ribbon that was along the 250-foot section of the fence, which they did, but they also had to replace the foundation back in 93-94 for the same problem. In those maps, you'll see the direction of the way the water runs from 13. It runs directly down under the chain link fence. Is why the reason the fence is exposed. And then obviously, by the shape of it, you can see it's fallen down. I had to take him to Doylestown, the corporation, in 1991 for oil runoff, fuel oil runoff that ran onto my property. It took up an area of about 100 by 150 feet. The Cornwall's Fire Department was down there, the DEA came down. They did clean up the mess, but this thing continues on since 1978. The corporation refuses to do anything. I know Mr. Johnson told him that he needs to address the fence. It didn't get addressed. The earth-moving equipment left because they were renting property off the corporation, as well as all the trash dumpsters, but they're all back again a year later.
Okay, well, have we been out about this, or? Quentin, do you know
You have any questions for me?
I did report the issue to Ken Farrell
About the dumpsters?
about the dumpsters, because before, when they took them out, I complained about them, and they went in, and we went to court and did what we had to do. So now it's back again.
They're all back.
We're going to have to do that again. You know, I don't believe that by right they can have the equipment that they're there. They had to remove it before.
It's C General. I think the property's owned.
So Phil, can you have, talk to Ken Farrell and get our people out there and get them out of there again? It's not, it's dumped.
It's
the building-
tax parcel 54, which is residential.
Cornwall's Avenue.
It's
It's
right
not
across
even
from
commercial.
Thomason's Funeral Home. It's on the corner of
Cornwall's and
Cornwall's
13.
and
Cornwall's
Route
and
13.
13.
It was actually my father's
Ken knows-
doctor's
Ken
office
knows
at one
where it
time on the
is.
second floor.
Ken knows where
It was
is.
Tockerman's boat store back in the day, and my dad's office was on top of it.
The barbed wire is hanging off the fence as well, right on
I don't understand
Cornwall's.
why the fence is like that. Is it just eroding from water?
No, they're putting the equipment back there.
Well,
The
if you look
equipment's
at,
backing up.
if you look at the overall map, the water, when it rains, it just runs straight downhill. He changed the direction of the land back in the late 70s. Now it's just a flume.
So when did the dumpsters appear? Because I just noticed them the other week.
No,
They came back March 24th
Yeah,
through
they've been back
26th
for-
of this
I haven't
year.
been down there as much until recently, and I haven't.
They've been
felt
out
that way.
back for
They
a
were
couple
removed
months.
after February of 21.
Okay, so
Because Mr. Johnson, I invited him down to see the situation.
we'll follow up Mr. Polari's complaint about the dumpsters, and we'll have to follow up with the mayor and administration and Ken's and get somebody down there and inspect all this. Problem.
Quentin can take
How many
care of
years
that
of
and make
books?
sure.
How many years of books do you have?
Oh, that's just for 21 and 22.
Do you do it every year?
I have a Rubbermaid up in the attic from 1978.
Mr.
With all the citations that were given to the corporation, and he just blew them off.
Mr. Holcomb does his due diligence. There's no doubt about that. You've been
Persistent.
there for a long time. You've been
I
there.
bought the property in 78 and had the whole
Yeah, we got to
bill.
get this, that's got to be cleaned up. I mean, it's really.
Like I say, it's residential property.
And the ECI's been out there for a long time, right? The air conditioning place?
It went out roughly around 2020 or 2020.
Is
But the tanks are still there, and I don't know what's in them. There's
it an
1,000
exercise
gallons
place
sitting there.
now still, or what?
I'm
No,
sorry.
the building's an auction house now.
It's an auction house?
Like a
What
sign
The auction
auction?
house, I think, is going now too, because all the signs are down, the glass is covered up in the
Because it
front
was a
store.
cross-training place for a little bit.
There was a little bit of that too, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that Mr. Farrell and Quentin have been trying to stay on top of it. They pushed them out the last time. The mayor laid down the law on it, and they did what they had to do.
After they
so
pushed it
they're
out
just
the
come
first
back.
time, then he put the green curtains up, like, you don't
Yeah.
know it's going back.
No,
Well, the dumpsters are what pushing the fence on Cornwall's Avenue.
Right.
The barbed wire's hanging out in the street, and the kids gotta go to
I was just by
school.
there yesterday and
just
saw it
reported
again, and it's getting higher and higher and higher. You got containers with equipment and backhoe things.
And there's commercial
on top of
dumps,
it. Yeah.
commercial plows on the top of that container.
All right, we're going to get, back on top of this, and we'll follow up.
You wanna hold on to the photos, that's fine with me.
Okay, yeah, we'll get them to Quentin. We'll get them, Quentin, can you take the photos and
And you
get
want
them to Ken's office? Okay, we'll take them over to
And we'll get
Quentin.
them back to Mr. Holcomb.
All right, thank
We'll
you.
send people out to try to help you, all right? Take care, sir. Nice to see you. Okay, is there anybody else that would like to come forward? Okay, seeing no other public comment, we'll close public comment.
Joe, before you go
Yeah.
to anything, Mr. Worster, can you give us or Quentin, a breakdown of where we are with the dirt on Mr. Popley's property next to the Conley property, what's going on with the dirt? I mean, or is there something going on, what's happening, so they can have an update of the people? I mean, they have a right to know what we're doing. I mean, it's just.
Quentin will come up and tell us the latest.
Can you pass that down?
Is this yours?
That's just for the guy that just spoke.
Right. So regarding the dirt on Mr. Popley's property at 634, we're still trying to find places to take it. I did reach out again to one place in Falls, which I didn't get a call back today, just to see what their status was. I had another person who called me that somebody else was looking for dirt. I haven't reached out to them yet, so I'm going to get their contact info and try and find that out.
Yeah, how much more time are we going to give them? I mean, enough's enough.
Yeah, we were just having problems trying to find out where to go with the dirt, because we have about 4,000 yards of
So
excess.
we're trying to remove it ourselves, but we have nowhere to put it.
Right, well, we're trying to find locations for it.
For him to get rid of it.
Correct.
Right.
So.
There's nowhere you can put dirt, anywhere.
Not in this township, no. Nobody in this township needs it.
Well, why don't we take it to another township? I mean,
Well, that's where we were looking now.
take it to the Poconos or something, I mean, you know.
Well, that's the whole thing. We do have a hauler that was lined up. We've actually talked to another company that says they have a job that's starting up. I don't know where that project is, but we haven't got notice that they've gotten approval yet for it.
I mean, there's
So-
got to be a timeline at this point. I mean, you know,
Right.
how many months? I mean, he doesn't care. As long as it sits there, he doesn't care. But Mr. Conley, we have his son here today, you know, they have to reap what happens with water runoff and stuff
Right.
onto their property.
Well, we were sent down there on Friday because of some activity, so the actual berm has been knocked down, we'll say, on the edge, so there is a chance that some of that water will now go onto Mr. Conley's property again until that's
You know,
fixed.
that's got to be fixed too, and that's Mr. Popley's responsibility to fix that.
That's Mr.
So-
Conley out on the property doing the digging,
Okay.
so.
Well, let's see if we can get a timeline on this and get this done. And, you know, if it,
I mean, it costs extra to ship it further. We have to ship it further and just, he has to pay.
and, yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Popley's going to have to pay. I mean, that's just the way it is.
We shouldn't be doing his work to make sure it's the cheapest for him.
Well, I'm just looking for the first place I can find.
Okay.
So, it doesn't matter, I'm not looking at cost, I'm just pretty much trying to find
So
a
whoever-
location. And I
Get
have
rid of
actually, the county knows we're looking into it as well, they're actually looking for it as well.
Okay.
They're letting me know of any leads, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So maybe hopefully in the next few
We'll
weeks she'll
keep you
tell
in
us
the
it's
loop,
gone.
okay?
I hope
We'll
so.
keep you in the loop. Thank you. Thanks, Quentin.
Yep.
Okay, seeing no one else come up for public comment, we'll close public comment. Is there any other business? Phil, do you have any other business?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Pizzo, do you have any other business?
Just one bit of business. The administration will be bringing forward to you at your meeting probably in July, an ordinance amending the township zoning ordinance to repeal section 354, the monument display overlay. Just wanted to make you aware and place that on the record. That ordinance first has to go up to the County Planning Commission for its review before you're able to act on it. But we wanted to make the public aware that that's happening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Mayor, do you have anything to add?
The only thing I want to add is that I just hope everybody out there, I take great pride in what we do here in the township with all of you as a team. And when I hear these complaints and I don't get them, and they have to come out here in front of the cameras, and it makes I know the administration look very bad. And that's not our goal. Our goal is to clean up the messes that come here in the township, and we work on that every day. And if there's a problem that we're not solving, I need to know about it. And we meet every Thursday at lunchtime to go over the week's work, to make sure we get these topics come up all the time. And I just want you, and I want the people to know that we're not dropping the ball. the ball's just rolling so fast. And, with all these water problems, we're working on a plan.
We're trying to address it, yeah.
They're coming up with, so hopefully we get that accomplished soon, and that'll take care of a lot of these problems faster, because there'll be a solution to it. So other than that, thank council for your patience. You're taking on what shouldn't have to come to you.
That's okay. I mean, that's our job. That's okay. We don't mind representing.
That's why we're a team, Mayor. We do it together.
Yeah, but I don't want you guys to be embarrassed or something.
No, we understand, but it's good that they have the opportunity to speak, so we know where we're at, and we can move on from there. Okay, Ms. Benitez, you have anything to add?
I always have fun things to add, Joe.
Okay, that's okay.
Tomorrow's Flag Day, so fly your flags high.
Tomorrow is Flag Day. You're right. Thank you.
Councilwoman Champion just celebrated a birthday, so I want to recognize her.
Oh, you did?
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Too old.
22?
I wish. That was quite a few years ago.
Congratulations to our award recipients tonight, our DARE kids and our B3T Shine Award recipients. We have some great children in our community, and I love to be able to recognize them here. Those kids are our future leaders, so it's great to have them with us. I'd also like to congratulate our new Deputy Director, Race, for his promotion. I look forward to working with you, and I'm happy to see you there. And we kicked off our summer concert series 2 weeks ago, so we'll have our next concert coming up this Wednesday night. Every Wednesday for the rest of the summer. It's been the Real Diamond is this week's show, but I got to tell you, the kickoff was amazing. It was a beautiful night. We've had a really wonderful turnout. And it's just a great way for the community to come together and celebrate and see what we have going on here. So come on out and visit us on Wednesday night. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Champion, do you have anything?
No, I'm just excited for the summer and Flag Day. Make sure you fly your flag. We have ours flying all year round. And thank you to everybody who came out and voiced your concerns tonight. You're heard. Your guys are always heard. The one thing I've learned over the last few years, things take time. But hopefully we'll get things moving along, and we'll keep working. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kisselback, do you have anything?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I'm just going to echo a few things that Ms. Benitez just said. In relative to the DARE program we have, we're one of the few municipalities in Bucks County, if not Pennsylvania, that still maintains that program. It's because we fund it in the township from the mayor and council. All the rest of the municipalities just gave up on it, and so it's something, we could be the only one in Bucks County. I know it's down to that.
Kids love it.
But it's a great program. It does give the kids at that particular age, 10, 11 years old, basically a core to rely on and go back and help them make the right decisions in life, not only revolving drugs and alcohol and tobacco, but in everything in life. So it is a well-prepared program, and something that's well appreciated by the teachers and the students and the parents, of course. The B3T program, Building a Bensalem.
Building a better Bensalem.
Building a better Bensalem today.
Together.
That's what it was today when it started. And
Now it's together.
So anyway, I'm kidding you on that, but and that's just another example of what the community does together for the township, and mostly involving our children in Bensalem and the future of Bensalem. And an example is the scholarship that was given out this evening to two outstanding individuals. My goodness. And I don't know how much it was, but whatever it was, it's certainly the accomplishments of those individuals. And
it was $1,000 each. That's pretty good.
And as I said, they're just an example of the future, who they're going to be, and they're leaders in not only Bensalem, but in the entire area and such. So I just want to touch base on all that. My flag is flying. It flies from Memorial Day right through the 4th of July. That type of thing. I think a lot of people do that also. Just takes you right through the several different holidays. And I just want to thank the council for everything that, I'm going to say what they do, but what all of us do together with the mayor in terms of making Bensalem what it is today. That's it. Thank you, Joe.
Okay. Mr. Polari?
I'm going to lighten a moment.
Uh-oh.
You guys already took care of everything else.
Yeah, now the Flyers are over.
We had a 9-game winning streak by the Phillies. Hopefully, we're going to start a new one tonight. I'm not sure where they are. 1-1? So hopefully, we're going to get another, maybe a 20-game winning streak going forward. And I still keep my fingers crossed the Flyers might be better, but we'll see what happens. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, and then, not to belabor, but just to mention, it's also Father's Day this Sunday, okay, so happy Father's Day. And I think we have very good examples of fathers here, and our Mother's Day was just passed, and, it's a well-deserved day, I think, anyway. But,
You're addressing that to your children?
yeah, I'm addressing it to me. But, also, I do want to recognize the, compliment not only the children in the DARE program, the poster winners tonight, and also the 2 scholarship winners were unbelievable representation of what's at Bensalem High School, and it was a real pleasure to have them here tonight. But the volunteers we have in the EDC Advisory Board, the Drug and Alcohol Commission, our Build a Better Bensalem Together. These are all organizations that are volunteer and they do it for the community. So we do appreciate that, and our many other organizations that we have in Bensalem. We have a great community we live in. We're working forward to get things done. Everything doesn't get done fast in time. It's not for lack of effort or caring, but unfortunately, the wheels of government move slow, especially when you, when you have the courts involved, they do. Yeah.
As far as the courts, yes.
Yeah, the courts slow it down. Yeah, I know. No, well, it's all right. What are you going to do? Okay, so I appreciate everybody's time, and happy Flag Day tomorrow. And with that, I will adjourn. Does anybody have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Thank you.